Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Lakers play the Raptors tonight, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, here in Los Angeles. Lakers gonna be wearing their white uniforms, of course, because it's Sunday. The Raptors are gonna be wearing their black uniforms. And I'm coming off homework of the Raptors. Of course, we saw them about a week ago in Toronto, where we squeaked out the win. The beginning of our road trip. We had a 27-point lead, squandered it down to 6, but ultimately we were able to get the win out there. And, it was one of those situations where afterward, the Toronto Raptors had to continue facing a bunch of Western Conference teams. They saw the Sacramento Kings twice after that. They saw the Denver Nuggets, of whom they had seen before that, again. And then they played the Clippers. So that's kind of how it's been for them. I watched all the highlights of those games, and one thing that was consistent was that the Toronto Raptors are getting to the line less times than their opponent. Just about every one of those games, their opponent's getting to the line 25, 26 times. They're getting to the line under 20 times. So that's been a consistent thing. They got to stop fouling, and we got to continue to draw fouls against it. So that's something I'm going to be paying attention to. The injury report is rather extensive for the Raptors. They're missing a lot of people. Kelly Olynyk, Jacoby Walter, Bruce Brown, Scotty Barnes, all out. And I believe it was Garrett Temple. That's a game-time decision. They did get quickly back, so that's good news for them. It kind of switches around their guard rotation a bit, though. You see less Jamal Shed right now, which I don't actually think is great for their team. They got to continue playing him. And they've kind of taking the ball out of Grady's hands a little bit, which is also not great for them, but quickly is able to do a lot of things with the ball in his hands. So it's one of those situations where guys just got to slot back into what their roles were. But this is a team that's starting to find something in other areas. Ochai Agbaji's usage has been up, and his production has been great. So you're just finding a lot over there. Davion Mitchell's having somewhat of a breakout season with the Raptors as well. So, it's a drag in a way for them to bring quickly back when they got all of these different guards that are showing they can really be productive. But you got to give quickly his opportunities. He's one of the stars there. So I would be frustrated a little bit. I would like to have quickly on the team, but I also love finding all of these young players that can do all these things, that really play well together, etc. So last night, for example, against the Clippers, quickly took the last shot and bricked it. And it was just one of those situations where you're like, man, could have Chai or Grady could have made something happen there. They are used to playing without him for the last 3 weeks, and now they got to incorporate him back into it. And I don't know that it didn't kind of cost them on that last possession, but, it is what it is. The Clippers took care of business. Zubats looked great against them, all of that. That's another thing that's been consistent. Bigs have been killing them. Jokic, obviously 40 and 10 against them. One of the games they played against Sacramento, Sabonis didn't miss a shot, triple-double. So these are the type of things that they've been running into. Bigs have been killing them, and I'd imagine that Anthony Davis, who's a game-time decision, of whom I expect to play, will continue on that path of really making them pay. Jakob Poeltl's coming off an inefficient game. I think he only attempted 5 shots or something like that, hit one of them. So that's not like the Jakob that we had seen a couple weeks ago, who was on a high surge. I'd imagine he's going to try to bounce back on the back-to-back tonight against us. So that's the thing. They played a tough game last night. They only lost by 1 possession. The Sacramento game they played in, they had it went handedly to the Sacramento Kings in sack. DeMar DeRozan and those guys really pushed past them. But the Denver game, they had to lead a good portion of the game. At one point, they were up by like double digits, 16 points or something like that against the Kings. They even had to lead with like 4 minutes to go, but just couldn't stave off the Nuggets, not the Kings. We're talking about the Denver Nuggets in the situation. They had a lead on the Nuggets in Denver and couldn't sustain it. And that's kind of how that game went. So they've had a tough road trip thus far. It's one of those situations where the last game they won was the Sacramento Kings game with Drake coming in saying he's going to personally go up and pull down DeMar DeRozan's banner if they put one up for him. They haven't won a game since, to be honest with you. They've been losing ever since Drake said that. So This is one of those situations where you just expect that even though they have lost all of these games, they really have been knocking on the door trying to get a win. They've yet to win any games on the road. And this game, just like the last one the Lakers saw them in, is a trap game. A trap game for sure. We know R.J. Barrett went crazy in the last game against us. I think he had like 12 assists, 35 points, something crazy like that. They got quickly back, as we just said. So this is a team that's coming in even more capable. Ochai Agbaji has since been surging in the right direction. As I said, Davion Mitchell, guys like Boucher have had pretty big games, even though he was cold from behind the arc against the Clippers. He had some pretty hot games from behind the arc, so we got to pay attention to his perimeter play. So this is a very dangerous team. I think they come in a little better than they were when we saw them, and that's not necessarily a great thing because we blew a 27-point lead against them, as already stated. So, your Lakers are coming off a win against these lowly Philadelphia 76ers, who have one of the worst records in basketball right now. And we still had a close game against them, so we weren't too proud of that. The stats kind of told us that some things that we can't really rely upon ultimately took place, which is why we won. We did make an adjustment, bringing D'Lo off of the bench and starting Cam Reddish, which I thought was a very good adjustment for our squad. And I'm sure we'll go forward with that same adjustment tonight. And hopefully we'll have some success against Emmanuel Quickly, who Cam Reddish is likely going to have to stay in front of if we're going to have any success against them. But defense is telling the story there. Neither one of these teams play any. We are the 27th ranked overall defensive team. They are the 29th ranked overall defensive team. So you're not going to see world beaters out there on the defensive end, even though both teams do have talented players defensively in certain positions. For example, Davion Mitchell for them and Jamal Sheed are good perimeter defenders. Obviously, Anthony Davis for us is one of the best defenders ever. So, there are capable defenders out there, but both of these teams ultimately play poor team defense. And so, this is a situation where, I just don't want to take this game for granted. Obviously, we're at home. We've been winning all of our games at home. Obviously, they're on the road. They've lost all of their games on the road. So if the trend stays the same, we should get the win. And I hope we're not relying upon that as a means of just snatching something up, because that's kind of how we approached the Detroit game and ultimately got beaten. And this is a team that has a lot of fast foot players. They play on the interior, so they get high percentage looks a good portion of the time. And like us, they don't really attempt the three too much. In the game that they won, though, against the Sacramento Kings, they attempted more threes and shot it very well from behind the arc. I think they hit 17 shots. I don't remember how many attempts, but that was a recipe for their success. So I'd imagine if they're paying attention to that trend, they will up their attempts a bit more. And given the fact that they got guys like Quickly and Agbaji and Grady and RJ, there shouldn't be a reason why there's a bad three-point shooting attempts squad. They have the hitters that can shoot. Guys like Boucher, as I mentioned already, they're not lacking in guys that should be able to stretch the floor. So, yeah, I don't know if they're going to get the memo, but if they attempt more than 35 threes, I think they have a better chance of being competitive. But that's kind of where they're averaging, sort of like us, 32 to 35 threes. And that's not really great for today's NBA, not unless you have a Shaq-like interior presence, for which they don't. So for me, I would imagine that they want to shoot more threes, but we'll see what they do. They shot more than us in the last game. We thought we shot 32. They shot 35 of them. So, whichever team does better from behind the arc in both attempts and percentage, I think will probably be a team that you'd expect to win this game. I think that might be where it's at. I do think that the Lakers' transition defense improved with the adjustment of bringing Cam into the starting lineup. I did see us get back a little quicker, so I'd hope that would translate tonight. But they have such fast guards down there that I just think that could be potentially a problem. Grady and Quickly, Agbaji, they're all little guys that can move really fast. Shared, so that's something that I'm imagining the Lakers are going to have circled on their need to control the interior scoring against this team, have some defense against at the rim, and a need to stop them in transition, don't turn the ball over, rebound the ball well, all the things that have to do with that. The Lakers did not really steal the ball very much at all against the Philadelphia 76ers. We had one steal, and it was accredited to Cam Reddish. We need to play better defense. I mean, at the end of the day, if we're going to beat this Toronto club, you're going to have to try to take the ball from them, draw fouls, do all the things that ultimately take the ball out of their hands, rebound the ball. You know, they had quite a few offensive rebounds against the Denver Nuggets, I believe it was. Both teams had like 13 each. So, you know, they can give up offensive boards. They can also get them. We need to control that. The Philadelphia 76ers had an ample amount of offensive rebounds against us. Second chance points really gave them a chance to keep the game closer than it should have been, especially with their personnel deficiencies. The Lakers have got to figure out how to control the boards a bit better. I know we were going up against Andre Drummond, so nobody's going to kill him for that. But, you know, we got to control the boards better tonight. We have to. So that's really where my head is going into this basketball game. They played us very well in the last one. We just saw them. These teams pretty much know each other at this point. And, you know, this is our second and last meeting with the Toronto Raptors. So let's secure this this season series, you know, Eastern Conference season series. You want to beat teams out of the East. We know the easy East is starting off pretty bad. It's only like 2 teams above 500 in the whole damn conference. And, you know, we've had the pleasure of being able to kind of get some of our Eastern Conference games out of the way right now, which means that the schedule's only going to get harder. So you have to start securing these better. We didn't get the Detroit game. That's unacceptable. Obviously, Cleveland's never losing to anyone ever again. You know, so that's nobody's killing us for that. But we have to play better against the Eastern Conference, and it starts tonight. And secure some of these wins, man. You know, I think our team at this point is, 5-4? One game above 500 after starting season 3-0. Like, we haven't been on the greatest stretch. And the games we won since going 3-0 could have went either way, you know, and that's really what it comes down to. This Philly game could have went either way, to be honest with you, even though we won the game. It was closer than it should have been. Philly even had the lead at one point. And the Toronto game, of course, this team here, where we had the 27-point lead and blew it. I mean, we're not winning, like, handedly against anybody special. So, you know, that's a far cry from what we were singing at the top of the season. And, you know, as the season's progressing, we're hoping to get healthier. But right now, we're still missing Christian Wood and still missing Vanderbilt. And those guys, you know, are expected to be out for another couple of weeks. So, yeah, man, we just got to do what we got to do. Christian Coloco is now with the team. Hopefully he'll get some minutes tonight against his old squad. Control of, you know, he said he wants to improve on the rebounding. He thinks he can rebound better than he's shown. I know that's not necessarily a strength of his, but it is a need for our team. So if he can have it in his mind with the minutes given that he's going to control boards, that'll be great. You know, but I expect a big Anthony Davis game. LeBron James coming off a triple-double in the last one. Austin Reeves found his 3-shot. He's been shooting well at home, so hopefully that can translate into him being efficient tonight. D'Lo off the bench gave us some scoring that we needed from our bench unit, since literally our bench is the worst scoring bench in the league. Doesn't have to be if D'Lo's going to contribute to that, so that's a real good adjustment. And I'm just looking for a bounce-back game from a few guys, man. Dalton Connect has been awful lately. Just awful in the last one, especially 1 for 8. A lot of bad there. We need him to get going, and we need to get him going early. I think what you have in here is a misdiagnosis, I guess you could say, of what a player is. He is a rhythm scorer that can string together a lot of shots by himself, both created for himself and off of the catch. I just think we need to get him sooner looks. I don't like how we're utilizing him. Shooters need shots consistently, and we are giving him his shots far and in between. That's not good for a rookie who's trying to get his footing, who could really contribute if you just give him the ball. Remember, he's 23 years old. He's not a regular rookie. He's older than Max Christie. So at this point, I don't really have a whole lot of reservation about utilizing him. Now, if he's cold, then you sit him. But the type of player he is, we've already seen in the Phoenix game in the preseason what he can do. So that he's being an afterthought in this offense or on this bench is It's neglecting the reality of us having a deficient scoring bench. He needs to be scoring a lot off of that bench, and if we can get him and D'Lo going together, then we can blow games wide open for real. You talk about weapons off of your bench, D'Lo and Dalton Connect being hot at the same time could beat anybody. So that's really what it comes down to. And this team, the way we're constructed, we have got to find ways of utilizing Dalton Connect, and hopefully we can get him going tonight. Max Christie, I think he's been benched. I don't know if that's going to be a permanent thing, but I would like to see him out there. The way things are set up right now, I don't know if we'll see any Max Christie, and that's pretty much what it is. We're continuing to use the jogging one, Cardio Gabe. I don't know what JJ sees in Cardio Gabe, man. I really don't. I'd have benched him. He wouldn't get a single minute out there with me. I'm just being honest. The way that he's playing right now, or lack thereof, it's just a bunch of jogging consistently, not contributing to much of anything at all in a very, very ridiculous way. One steal, 18 minutes, 2 points, 18 minutes. Like every night he's doing the same thing. It's getting to a point where it's like when he does shoot, his shots are off. They're random. It looks like he shot them out of a cannon at absolute random. And now he's become gun shy, and it's like he can't get right. So let's make sure we get right and stop this. Put it into his minutes. Divvy those out to Max Christie. Divvy those out to the young guys, man. Jalen and Huchafino and, of course, Bronny James, people like that. I'd rather see them get 4 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and just kind of circle around providing young guys a bit more experience than to keep running Cardio Gabe out there for half a damn game for him to literally just jog, man. It's just, I don't know what JJ sees in the man. I really don't. You can have respect for a guy and say, yo, this is one of my vets. I need him. I'm going to need him in the playoffs, this, that, and the third. That's cool, bro, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, he's contributing as much to this team as any assistant coach sitting on the sideline. And for me, that's where his ass needs to be, next to the assistant coaches with a jumpsuit on, bro, and some Air Forces. Like, literally, if you want to contribute to this team, be an assistant coach, Gabe. That's where I'm at with it, bro, because I don't want to see no more jogging. And I know JJ ain't going to, he ain't going to tell him, hey, man, we're going to scale back on your minutes, because he has respect for him. He probably sees little nuanced things that he's doing in the jogging. I don't know. But for me, I don't care about none of that nerd stuff. If you're not contributing to actual production, then in this situation, you're taking away from potential experience that young players need to develop and become pieces that we can use. And for me, I need those pieces more than I need Gabe Vincent setting a good off-ball screen or tracking a guy or whatever the hell JJ sees in his jogging ability. So that's really where I'm at with that, man. I ain't got any more patience there. My patience is gone. If a vet can't play, a vet must sit. So that's where I'm at with that. Sitting young guys is not going to make our team any better. Sitting Gabe Vincent will at least assure that the young guys get better. And that is the goal for a team that can't make a trade, because everybody on the team is undervalued. So please, JJ, our team, if we're ever going to get any better, you got to start making the guys that actually could become tradable look good out there. And Gabe Vincent is never going to become tradable. No one's ever going to want that contract in a million freaking years. So please help the overall big picture for the Lakers. Sit Gabe down. And so that's really my take on that, man. I'm excited about this particular game tonight, 6:30, as I said, Pacific time. And we need to continue to gobble up wins at home. Since we're a good home team going up against a bad road team, there should be no reason we lose this basketball game. I understand that this is a prideful bunch over there in Toronto. They have off night. Davion Mitchell, he's playing well on both sides of the floor, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have a big game out of somebody we're not expecting it from. Maybe Ochai Agbaji, Jonathan Mogbo. They got a lot of guys that can really go. But at the end of the day, we're home. And the Lakers this year at home are very, very difficult to beat. Crowds behind them, and our team is front running with them. So that's what I expect. I expect for us to come out and jump on top of this Toronto team. I do expect they'll fight hard, but we should not be giving back big leads and stuff like that against this squad like we did in the last one. Quickly can have something to say about that. Obviously, RJ Barrett, we didn't have any answer for last time. Grady can definitely go as well, so we just need to be aware that they, even though Scotty Barnes is not out there and Bruce Brown is not out there and you know, Kelly ain't out there and all these different players that they're missing, they still have an extremely deep basketball club that can compete without all of those people and have been. And so they're itching to get a win on the road. They're knocking on that door. We need to keep it shut. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.